True. Yeah, pride is a dangerous thing, man. Pride. That's usually the kicker for everybody. Pride.
So does judgment fuel pride?
I think it does because if you're judging a person, like from my experience with people that I've dealt with, the people that judge me the hardest were just people with a whole lot of mess in their life, and they were just trying to throw dirt on me to make themselves look better.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Unadulterated Youth. I'm Bianca and this is Teddy, and we're here today with another topic. So excited to be with you guys again. And as always, thanks so much for all the support that you guys have been giving, and some silent. You guys got to speak up some because we know you're watching, so y'all got to come on and engage with us so we can know what we're needing to talk about, or if we even are getting warm, or what y'all want to talk about. You got to let us know. What you think, Teddy?
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. The whole purpose that we created this channel is we wanted to engage with people. So we didn't want to make this channel just about us. We want people to join in. We even looking for, I think we said it a couple times, we're looking for some people that want to come on the Zoom and talk with us. So this could be a group activity. Bianca doesn't know everything. I don't know everything. We want some other feedback about even some past topics that we talked about.
Yeah, even if you guys want to talk about, some current events, some things that are going on in the country, or talk about some things going on in your community, no topic is off the table here. We can talk about anything. That's why we're called Unadulterated. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead to our topic for today, which is just simple judgment. Teddy, what do you think about judgment?
Well, judgment to me is a touchy topic because it's like we know, most of us have a conscience. No, most of us, some of us read the Bible and been to church, and we know this is not something that we're supposed to do. But let's face it, most of us do it at the end of the day.
Yeah. And like you said, the Bible, we always got to touch on God's word because that's what we live by, really, or that's what we're supposed to live by. The Bible does say, judge not lest you be judged. And I'm wondering, okay, what does that mean exactly? Judge not lest you be judged. Well, if you don't mind, I'll just go on into what I'm thinking it means.
Okay.
I think that it means like, okay, if I see a person on the street, a homeless person, or someone who is a little less fortunate than me in any area, doesn't matter, doesn't have to be homeless, and I'm thinking, or I'm looking down on them, I'm thinking bad thoughts towards them as if I'm better, and then not really realizing that, hey, I could be in that same situation, or not remembering that, hey, maybe I was in that situation once upon a time. So also, to expound on that a little bit more, I think judge not lest you be judged is also that God is going to judge you because he knows what you're thinking. He knows those things that you're doing towards people, or how you're puffed up, for lack of better words. And so, yeah, God is going to have the final say on us. But really, we need to look at it from the perspective of being empathetic, knowing that, hey, none of us have control of our lives, and also knowing that, at any point, we could be as less fortunate, or if not worse than that person. What do you think?
I mean, I totally agree because we said it multiple times on a lot of our videos. Uh, God he's a bigger picture God. So it's like us as people, we only can see situations based on how it looks from the surface. But you might not understand what that person is going through or what their particular situation is when they make that particular situation. And it's kind of an unfair thing for you to do, to judge a person by all their decisions or what's going on in their life when you don't understand what their circumstances is, number one, and what their thought process is.
Yeah, we don't know how they arrived to that point, just as well as they don't know how we arrived to the point that we are. It's always somebody looking in on your household or looking in on your situation, thinking she could have done it better, he could have done it better. Oh, if she had done it like this, or trying to analyze how you could have gotten to a better position. However, it's something about that judgment word that keeps the people, them on the outside, looking down. It's never them coming to give you a hand up. It's always
Yeah,
something that's going to keep you where you are, and it's not going to help you. So judgment, God's judgment is different, because his judgment is really, in a way, a correction. Because in his word there is judgment, but like I said, it's a correction to bring you up. His judgment was never meant to keep you down or to push you down or to, discard of you. It was really meant to bring you to meet his standards, or even bring you up to his level of perfection.
I agree because let's face it, there's thousands of men and women right now who's in the penitentiary that you would label them a murderer, you would label them as a killer, you would label them as a thief. But if you really look at their full circumstance, and of course that doesn't mean all of them, some of them deserve to be there, but there's a lot of people in jail who they're a victim of their circumstance. It's not necessarily that they're a bad person. They was put into a particular situation where they had to make a decision. Now, we may agree it might not have been the best decision, but because of their circumstances, they was put in a bad position where they had to make a decision at a split second that put them where they are.
Well, I mean, I keep hearing that, oh, well, that's just you making an excuse. But I don't believe that that's an excuse. It just is a way to explain how the person arrived to that point. Now, if I come in and I have a friend that is headed to, or on the wrong path, headed to prison, or a bad position. If I have that friend and I come in and I say, you shouldn't be doing that, man, you ain't nothing. I don't know what you thought. Like, what is you doing? Instead of saying, hey, you're really intelligent. You clearly doing the wrong things, but hey, I have this job that I could refer you to, or I have a friend that's hiring for this or that, or hey, did you think about going into business doing this or that because you seem really talented in that area? That's the type of judgment or correction that God gives. That type of relationship, instead of being down on a person, always accusing them of why you're in such a bad position. It's just horrible to me because nobody seems to have any compassion in this so-called judgment, or they say it's not judgment, it's just facts.
I mean, my biggest problem with
Excuse me.
and I think all of us been through this, is where people they'll judge you and they'll use a label to put on you based on what you're going through. Like, for example, I had a friend, and you know who that friend was. We ain't gonna bring him up, but he had a situation where he used to always call his mom an alcoholic. And it used to bother me because, yes, she drunk a lot. That is a true statement. But to me, he was judging her based on her circumstances or the result of was really going on with her. Really, at the end of the day, there was something going on inside of her that she was really dealing with or was really troubling her. And alcohol was nothing but a result of something that she was choosing to cover up what she was dealing with. So, I mean, it's easy for the outside world to say that you're an alcoholic, but let's get to the root of the problem. Is there something in your heart that's broken? Is there something inside of you that's not right that caused you to make these decisions? And to me, that's the problem with judgment, is like you don't understand the full circumstance when you label a person, or when you look at a certain person a certain way, or wonder why their life is that way.
I think that is beautiful because, to go beyond elevating me here and keeping you down here, it's having the compassion to say to the person, hey, I see a situation going on with you. And like you said, let's get to the root of the problem. And how can I help you, instead of labeling you an alcoholic? Well, you may very well be addicted to alcohol, but because I'm your brother, I'm your sister, you're my family, or you're my loved one, my friend, even my enemy. Hey, I love you enough still, though, to help you out of a down situation instead of downing you.
Exactly.
You have to love a person enough to help them out of that situation instead of just beating them down more. Like, that's the wrong mentality. I think that is a mentality of the world. And, that's something that God is most definitely not pleased with. And that's something we have to continue to remind ourselves of, because no man is perfect. But when we see that we're on the wrong path, or we see that we're not approaching people the right way, then it is our obligation to correct ourselves, just to be in love. I feel like love. What were you saying earlier about love? And about them, if you just took out all of the commandments that God gave, it was pretty much love, I believe, that you spoke about.
No, actually, I was talking about
treating people how you want to be treated.
Yeah, no, it wasn't about love, but it was about treating people how you want to be treated.
Do you want to be loved, or do you want to be treated with love?
Yeah. At the end of the day.
Right?
Huh?
Is it pretty much, right?
I mean, yeah, if you really look deep into it, yeah, you're right. If you really think about it, it is love.
Because do you think you can treat somebody how you want to be treated without, first of all, you love yourself, I'm sure. Do you want to be treated without love, or can you treat somebody the way you want to be treated without having love in your heart?
That's a good point. That's true. You're right about that. You're right about that. And unfortunately, and I'm sorry to say this, but Christians are usually the worst when it comes to this, because I think we all have encountered that one person who got saved yesterday. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, you having this wonderful experience with God, and now you binging on the Bible and you're learning all these Bible scriptures, and they're like so quick to point out everybody's flaw or what's wrong with them. But it's like, wait a minute, you need to pump your brakes a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like, you wasn't this person 3 days ago or a week ago.
Not even those who got saved yesterday. It's just those who have been in this cycle of religion. We keep going over it. This cycle of religion for years, and refusing to admit your own wrongs. That's the thing. I got to be able to look at you and see myself. That's the type of love. You say treat somebody how you want to be treated. Well, I need to be able to see myself in you, to say, hey, he's there now, but I could very well be there. Or he's in that situation, but I've been in something similar. And so that's where we can reason and empathize with each other, and even help each other. Not just me help you. You can help me too. It doesn't matter because somebody's downstairs. It would be like being in an apartment and somebody lives under you. Do you think that it's nothing they can help you with because they live on the bottom floor? They can help you with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you're on the same level, but hey, it just looks that way.
Yeah, can you pass me my groceries? Or I got to be able to get down there for something, and you got to be able to get up here for something sometime. But really and honestly, I need to get down there more than you need to get up here. So it's really a humbling thing. Humble yourself. Mm-hmm. Humble yourself.
That's true.
Because that's what pleases God. I know is that when we humble ourselves and be lowly, and it sounds like, oh, you're so pitiful. But really it's the fact that we are all the same. We're the same. We're all like this far from losing everything, because none of us have control. Only God has control of that. And he can allow it to be taken today, or he can grace you to have more.
That's true. Yeah, pride is a dangerous thing, man. Pride. That's usually the kicker for everybody. Pride.
So does judgment fuel pride?
I think it does, because if you're judging a person, like from my experience with people that I've dealt with, the people that judge me the hardest were just people with a whole lot of mess in their life, and they were just trying to throw dirt on me to make themselves look better.
Mm. Well, you talked about a few episodes back about going to court and things of that nature. I do at least appreciate the court system and the respect that most times, in which they're supposed to, they've done their research before they hand down a judgment. So it's not that they just look in and say, now let me tell you, there are some prejudices, but they're not supposed to look in and say, oh, he's black, so he's a thug, or he's a predator, he's a criminal, or he's a man, so he might be, something negative. Or she's a woman, so she's a prostitute. Those types of things, and just hand down judgment. Usually they've done their research. They have evidence. You're supposed to bring evidence into the courtroom, and then you can say, okay, for sure this person didn't do these things or done these things to get them to this point. But the world really pretty much judges without even trying to explore, like you said, the root of the situation or why. I absolutely, if the system worked correctly, I love it, because then they can pretty much, when they do hand down a judgment, then they can probably prescribe a rehab or some type of parental program for the children, things of that nature. That's still something that's supposed to be effective. Our judgment just sits here and again keeps you down and doesn't try to help you. Like I said,
Yeah.
if the system worked correctly, then it still would be aiding you.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah, but I mean, again, like I said in the beginning of this video, it's a touchy subject because it's like most of us know that we shouldn't do it, but
Yeah.
it's almost like human nature. We got flesh, and our flesh automatically wants to like look at people not the way they should be looked at, or through the eyes of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a tough thing to do because we do it every day.
Mm-hmm. And when you said that, most times it's people who are judging us are the people who have a mess of a life, it is to deflect. It is to keep them from looking at the inside. When we started this thing way in the first dang on in the first dang video, and I'm sorry for saying dang, but this is how I talk, y'all. So when we first started it, though, it was just to encourage, again, that video was to encourage people to look on the inside and just see, do you like yourself? Well, see, all of these things that we're doing on the outside are something that is deterring us from looking in on the inside and say, okay, maybe I don't like myself. Maybe I'm not doing what I should be doing, and to own that and then to be able to correct it.
That's true. I mean, most people, it's not an easy thing to do to be, look inside and be honest about yourself. Like, I remember, and I'm being transparent for a moment, but I remember a couple months ago, I went on a date, right? And I was sitting at the table with the young lady, and we was talking. She was telling me about her personal, past relationship, and she was just going on and on how bad this guy was and how dirty he was. So after she finished with her rant, I asked her, "Okay, that's terrible. That's terrible. I feel so sorry for you. Now tell me what you did." Crickets, 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 crickets. She could not sit there and look at her own faults at what she did. I mean, don't get me wrong. He probably did the most of the junk, but even with that scenario, you still did something. There's still something that you might not have said right. You might not have did right, where you can be able to analyze and say, well, maybe let me check that. So when I get with the next guy, that I won't repeat that pattern. But so when you get into a pattern or so quick to point the finger at somebody else, you never take accountability for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And then let's just do something even better. Let's not even talk about what anybody done. Let's not talk about what anybody's doing. Let's not even care. Let's just do you. Let's just be quiet. I had a teacher who used to say, "Mom is the word" all the time, but just be quiet and do your self work. Nobody even asked you for your opinion, just to be honest. So it's something with the social media thing that got people thinking nobody cares for your opinion. The only opinion that somebody should really care about is when you can come in and help the person. That's all I want to hear. And if you're not helping the person, you just need to cut it. Like, that's what I say.
You're right, but that's a difficult thing for people to do. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, this whole quarantine that's happening right now, people think that they're having trouble sitting at home because they want to be out. Yeah, that is a problem. But you know what the biggest problem that people's having it with is? For once in their life, they're forced to sit at home with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people can't deal with themselves. So they want to blame the family. Oh, my kids is getting on my nerves. My husband, my girlfriend, whatever, my family getting on my nerves.
Mm-hmm.
But really,
he ain't no good.
Exactly. That's the excuse. But at the end of the day, it's not really them you sick of. You sick of yourself. You can't sit with yourself.
Man, you've been tired of you. But you just continue to try to, you got to get on, so you got to be a busybody. You got to get on here and say this. You got to get on this platform and say that. hey, chill. Ain't nobody asked you. Did nobody ask you? You would do well if you just be quiet and help yourself. Your living would be the example that people want to see. They don't want to hear nobody talking. Talking never done nothing. It's the action to
Mm-hmm.
me. There's a lot of people talking, making promises and all that stuff. That didn't do nothing but take us back as far as I'm concerned. If you make me a promise and then you don't fulfill it, well, that's taking me back. I'm saying I'm talking about talking. When people
Yeah.
talk, it's about nothing until you do. And so maybe I would see you and your model family doing very well and doing what you say other people should be doing, and fall in line. You think that would work? You think you should be an example, perhaps, instead of lending your opinion so much?
Exactly. I mean, it's a tough thing for a lot of people. A lot of people can't face themselves. You
Yeah.
know.
It's unfortunate because it continues to backtrack us all as a people, because they're still putting out this pretty picture, painting this false narrative. But even worse, they're speaking against others at the same time. The tongue is a double-edged sword. So
Yeah, definitely.
just still, just don't do it, until you can help that individual. That would be awesome. If you can do that and call them aside and say, hey, I noticed this. Do you think you want to come over here? And what would be something that people judge a lot? Oh, I noticed your child is falling behind in this class, or it seems like he may, he was here and it seems like he may be having difficulty in math. You, instead of saying, oh, she's not a good mom, she doesn't teach her child, I know something that could help this child. Do you think you maybe send him over sometime and I can help him?
Yeah,
Or you
like trying.
can play together and do a study group online. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, trying to be the solution to help instead of judging. Trying to make you seem out to be the bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
I think we hit it pretty good.
Yeah.
But once again, this is unadulterated. Unadulterated, you actually say we're on Instagram, right? And we got a YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, Yahoo account.
Yeah, we have a Gmail account. It's unadulteratedU@gmail.com. And, like I said, we're looking forward to some communication from you guys. If you don't communicate, we're still not going to stop, because, somebody's definitely getting something from these videos. And I'm quite sure, even if it's here for months on end, we're just going to continue in this because we feel strongly about the topics and about, sharing with you guys and even engaging with you guys and getting more of a well-rounded perspective, like we talked about, and growing and being better people. So anyway, we're looking forward to it. I wanted to say, or encourage you guys to just do what's best for you. Try not to look, like the Bible talks about, not looking to the left or the right. Just try not to look on what anybody's saying about what you're doing, but do what's best for you. Now, that's not to say that you go and say, I can do what I want to do. Do what's actually best for you. Look into some things that's going to better you or better your situation or whatever, and take the advice from people who are willing to help and lend that information. Use it to better yourself. Don't worry about what nobody else think on the outside. If you don't do what's best for you, nobody else can do it for you, and nobody else is going to do it for you. So that's what I would encourage. A friend of mine actually was encouraging me to do that the other day, and it's something you hear all the time, but it really hit home for me, because nobody else can do that for me. Only I can do it. So we got the power to do it. God gave it to us. Let's do it. Until next time, we're looking forward to, we appreciate you coming through, and we're looking forward to seeing you again.
All right. Y'all be blessed out there.